G'day everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, today's the day we're going to talk about the results for the Doors LA Woman shootout that we did on 3 different record pressings. So, let's go, first of all, I've got notes here, but let's talk about the results. So, the first record you heard was the new Rhino edition that's just been released now. So that was record number 1. That was the first record you heard. The second one you heard was the 45 double LP Analog Productions version of that record, which of course means number 3 was the UHQR version of this record. So they were the order in which you heard them in. Now let's talk about what I heard in the room. So we'll start with the third record that you heard, which was the UHQR version. So this version sounded a little on the forward side to me. It was a little, I've got words here like very detailed, slightly on the bright side, a little forward sounding, less reverb in Jim's voice on that record, on that and on particularly on that song. The organ was a little tipped up on this record, and there was a slight little bit of sibilance here and there on this record as well. That I mean, nothing major by any stretch of the imagination. All 3 of these are very, very good versions of this album, but that was essentially how I heard it in the room with the UHQR version of this record. It was just that little bit on the hot side for the better part. The second version you heard, which was the Analog Productions version. Now, this is a pretty impressive version of this record. If I'm honest, it wins the shootout for me. Double 45 record. I've written here the best version of these 3. There was much more dynamics in the way that the analog production was recorded. It had real dynamic transient in it. The drums sounded really nice. There were great. That snare hit was really, really on point and really nice and dynamic. The drums really were dynamic. I've written here, snare hits spot on. You know, like things like that. The organ was still that little tiny bit hot, but really, I haven't heard a version where it isn't. But it was just on that, not as bad as the UHQR version, but still that way a little bit. Jim's voice was just that little bit forward sounding again as well, but again, certainly not as forward as tipped up as the UHQR version. But dynamically and just the sense of real quality pressing, the sense of a real being in the room at the time, this record had that real sense for me. It wins, but honestly here, it only just wins over the Rhino version as far as I'm concerned. The Rhino version, which is the latest version of this record, I've got written here, it's a very close second to the Analog Productions. I think I gave it to the Analog Productions because it had, it just didn't quite have that same dynamic transient that the 45 RPM record had. So the Rhino, the organ was a very real sounding. So it was probably the best rendition of the organ in those 3 pressings as far as I was concerned. This pressing had more bass. It had more fullness and sweetness in the lower octave. And I've written here more bass, sweet sounding. Vocals sounded real with nice warmth. So that's what I've written here. So Jim's vocal was the best sounding vocal of the 3 as far as I heard. There was nice detail there, but this record was not tipped up like the other 2 were. Now, when I say tipped up, I mean, you know, I've already, I think, mentioned to you that we're only talking about splitting hairs here, if I only had a few to split. But they essentially, if you wanted that really nice, warm, analog sounding record, then I think the Rhino just gets it over the top of the analog productions. There was just a warmth, an analog sound like you hear when you play a nice record, and that's exactly what I got from the Rhino press. I just thought it had a lovely sense of roundness without losing any real detail. The other two just sounded that little bit slightly tipped up, but the double 45 analog productions, and I mean, it just got it over the Rhino for me because of its dynamic aliveness. It really sounded alive, very alive. And I guess this really depends on what it is you like in a pressing. If you like that real sense of a roller coaster ride, then the analog productions is probably the one you want to seek out. But this is available currently, I still think, the Rhino version, and it's right up there. It's got a lovely sense of warmth about it that just was easy to listen to. It really had that sense of, oh, this is analog, and for that reason, it comes a very close second to me. So there's the order for you, folks. The analog productions wins it just over the Rhino, which comes in a very close second, followed by the UHQR coming in third. Hopefully you were hearing that. Hopefully you picked your favorite, because again, with these sorts of things, when we do this, there's no right answer here. It's what resonates with you guys. It's what you hear, what you like. So no wrong answers, but for my tastes in my room, being in this room, I kind of liked the analog productions the best, but only just over the Rhino. So I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit of fun. I haven't done one of these for a while, so I thought I'd put one together for you guys so you could have a listen and put your headphones on and have a study and see which one you like the most. I would love to have an original pressing of that album. That would have been a great comparison to do as well. I'm told the OP is very, very good also, but I've not heard an OP of that record, so it was a bit of fun for all of you to have a listen along. And I know it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, it was a 96 kilohertz 24-bit capture that I did in the room, and so you're hearing how it sounded in the room to the best of my ability. And then what YouTube, of course, does with it after that is completely out of my hands. I can't do anything about that, but all I can do is try and get it as good as I can before I upload it to YouTube. So if you enjoyed this, guys, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up. And if it's the sort of thing you are enjoying, you're enjoying this journey that we're going on together as a community, please consider subscribing to the channel. I know a lot of you are watching and aren't subscribed, and all I can ask you to do is please press that subscribe button and come along the journey with us. Show me your support. I don't know if what I'm doing is what you guys want to see, and the only way I can know that is if I watch my subscriber numbers go up and I watch the likes go up on the video. So all I can ask you to do is do that. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me out dramatically. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and until we talk, it's bye for now.